Welcome to today's Explainer. We're stepping right into the intersection of facility management, educational design, and operational strategy. We're going to put our consultant hats on and critically analyze how we transition K-12 school walls from, mere decorative overlays into highly functional integrated architectural assets. We aren't just talking about making things look pretty in the hallway. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how a school building actually operates, how it handles daily wear and tear, and most importantly, how it supports its primary mission of learning. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our agenda for today's briefing, addressing both the pedagogical needs and the hard operational realities. Number 1, walls as teaching tools. 2, the flaws of legacy methods. 3, direct-to-wall technology. 4, real-world educational impact. And finally, 5, operations and life cycle costs. To set the right perspective right out of the gate, consider this insight from East Coast Mural Pros. Well-designed walls do more than decorate a corridor. They shape behavior, signal safety, and reinforce learning. This is the foundational philosophy we really need to operate from. When you view your interior branding through this strategic lens, you stop seeing empty drywall and start seeing a powerful tool for environmental psychology. Studies consistently show that the physical environment accounts for a massive variance in student learning progress. It's absolutely foundational to their success. All right, Section 1, Walls as Teaching Tools, the strategic value of educational spaces. It's really time we reframe how we look at K-12 hallways, common areas, and cafeterias. These are not just passive circulation zones where kids rushed from point A to point B before the bell rings, right? They are daily communication platforms. When you treat your surfaces as strategic real estate, the environment actively supports the curriculum. Just imagine a kindergartner naturally absorbing a vibrant phonics chart or a math number line every single time they line up for recess. That is passive learning at scale. For high schools, it's college and career pathway graphics strategically placed exactly where students congregate. It's also about building a deeply inclusive campus environment. When you deploy consistent graphics, clear mascots, and intuitive house systems, you dramatically reduce the cognitive load on students and visitors. They can navigate without confusion, which naturally lowers anxiety and fosters a real, profound sense of belonging. Moving on to Section 2, the flaws of legacy methods, analyzing operational headaches. Now, as any facility director knows, navigating deferred maintenance backlogs and impossibly tight bell schedules is nothing short of an art form. Recognizing the educational value of graphics is really only half the battle. We absolutely have to confront the operational realities. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide between outdated stopgaps and future-ready solutions. On one side, we've got traditional methods: vinyl wraps, wallpaper, and hand-painted murals. If you've ever had the distinct displeasure of smelling harsh wallpaper adhesives during a rushed weekend maintenance shift, well, you know exactly the pain I'm talking about. They rely on those harsh adhesives, they have dust-gathering seams, and they require highly disruptive, long room closures. On the flip side is the modern standard: direct-to-wall printing. It gives you a seam-free, integrated aesthetic that sits completely flush with the substrate, zero adhesives, zero bulky panels, and it requires minimal masking, allowing for instant space turnover. Let's look a little closer at why legacy materials fail so predictably in high-touch K-12 zones. The adhesives used in vinyl inevitably damage your drywall and CMU block coatings during removal, which triggers entirely avoidable costly repairs. In areas like cafeterias or nurse stations, the harsh disinfectants required for daily hygiene quickly degrade those decorative films. And let's be honest, kids inevitably pick at the seams. It's just human nature. And suddenly, a tiny failure becomes a massive, expensive eyesore. While hand-painted murals absolutely have artistic merit, they demand specialized labor, scaffolding, and extended ventilation times that just do not play well with a modern educational schedule. Facilities teams need durability, for sure, not a fragile temporary fix. Which brings us to Section 3, direct-to-wall technology, the mechanics of modern institutional printing. So what's the alternative here? Let's shift the paradigm entirely. Direct-to-wall printing essentially brings the professional print shop directly to your campus. We utilize a compact, rail-guided printer that moves right across the wall. It jets UV LED curable inks directly onto your existing substrates, whether that's finished drywall, rough concrete, or bare brick. And here's a fun fact about UV LED curing. Because the ink cures via ultraviolet light instantly upon contact, there is literally zero off-gassing. No lingering chemical smells, no toxic fumes. There are no heavy panels to hang, no air bubbles to painstakingly smooth out, and no waiting for things to dry. The ink hits the wall and boom, it's done. This technology allows us to build a highly systematic, professional methodology. A proper institutional workflow leaves absolutely nothing to chance. First, we conduct a rigorous site assessment and mapping of substrates and obstacles. Second is artwork pre-flight, checking the resolution so even microtext is perfectly crisp. Third, precise color management, ensuring brand accuracy and ADA-minded contrast. Fourth, the actual on-site print, which executes with millimeter alignment edge to edge. And finally, a strict quality check. And because of that instant UV cure we just talked about, you get immediate space turnover. I really want to highlight that number right there. 5. In the high-stakes reality of school operations, schedule certainty is non-negotiable. A massive operational benefit of this workflow is the rapid turnaround. Many of these complex visual installations are completed, turning over full zones in under 5 hours. Just imagine walking out on a Friday afternoon and returning Monday morning to find a completely transformed cafeteria or main corridor. That is the power of a 5-hour turnaround. No off-gassing, no construction dust, just clean, instant results. Okay, Section 4, Real-World Educational Impact. Let's look at applications across the campus ecosystem. Now that we understand the technology, let's take a walk across the campus ecosystem to see how this highly durable medium practically manifests, serving both pedagogy and facility operations. The sheer scale and adaptability of this application are pretty remarkable. Starting in the classrooms, you can print age-appropriate alphabets, sentence stems, or intricate lab safety icons directly onto the teaching walls. As you move out into the hallways, you can install milestone paths or vibrant cultural heritage displays that guide students to their next period. Down in the cafeterias, the walls benefit from built-in nutrition education and smart line management cues to significantly improve traffic flow. For safety and ops, we integrate shelter-in-place maps and PPE guidance natively into the wall surface. And finally, stepping into athletics, we print record boards directly onto gym walls. Built incredibly tough, more than enough to withstand direct, repeated ball impact and frequent scrubbing from the janitorial staff. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the high-definition output carrying both bold identity and fine-grained information seamlessly. With legacy vinyl, seams inevitably interrupt that kind of reading experience, and small text just gets blurry at scale. But because this direct-to-wall printing delivers photoreal precision, you can carry massive, bold school identity alongside incredibly fine-grained information, like a detailed historical timeline or micro-illustrations of local ecology, all in one seamless composition. It rewards close viewing and turns what used to be a blank wall into an active, highly engaging learning surface. All right, final section, Section 5, Operations and Lifecycle Costs, Modeling the Total Cost of Ownership. Let's pivot to the language of a district planner for a minute. We need to look past the stunning aesthetics and focus heavily on the financial realities. True experts don't just look at the day one installation invoice, they model the total cost of ownership over a 4 to 8 year refresh cycle. Take a look at the comparison matrix here. The hidden cost of legacy methods literally drain your budget over time. When we examine labor and downtime, legacy methods demand room closures, panel staging, and off-gassing delays, whereas direct-to-wall offers immediate on-site turnover. With waste and rework, you completely eliminate shipping damage and misfit seams, because there are no physical panels to ship or mishandle. For maintenance, a seam-free printed wall has an exceptionally high disinfectant tolerance compared to easily damaged peeling vinyl, and perhaps most importantly, end of life. When you want to change a vinyl wall, you pay heavily for adhesive removal and inevitable drywall repair. Direct-to-wall? It leaves a perfectly smooth, paint-over-ready finish. You literally just paint over it and start fresh. Furthermore, for administrators managing multi-building districts, scalability is everything. By utilizing standardized template systems and shared pre-flight libraries, this technology ensures absolute color consistency and brand integrity across your entire portfolio. You codify your identity once and perfectly replicate it campus by campus. Whether you're managing 3 buildings across town or 30 charter schools across the state, you eliminate the risk of local fabrication errors entirely. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to the ultimate question for any K-12 leader. By rethinking how we treat these surfaces, we can eliminate deferred maintenance headaches and transform our schools from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I challenge you to walk your campus corridors tomorrow and really ask yourself, are your building's walls a fragile stopgap or a future-ready asset?